Good morning and welcome. Warning, this video may contain explosion noises, poor editing skills, child murder, jump scares, and theories about a game I barely understand. And trust me about the video editing, I have not touched a video editor since the 6th grade when we made paint GIFs and our own websites. Today I want to talk about the first murder in the series, and no, it's not Chica, even though
I was the first. I have seen everything.
And it's not Charlotte. It's not even at a Freddy Fazbear's Pizza, nor at the Family Diner. It's not even at a brick-and-mortar location. Fall Fest, a location that we don't know much about other than it's likely part of the circus, possibly what Fredbear's Sing and Show came to be, or even another attraction to the circus. Either way, we know it's an outdoor event filled with tents and apparently very flammable. I don't believe it was the fire that killed the first victim though. Instead, I think it was either an accident or a very calculated murder. We'll talk through both paths and possible outcomes. Stage 01. A minigame from FNAF 3, one I'm sure you all remember the sound to. Yes, Swan Lake and... yeah, clickety-clack to you too, Fredbear. To successfully complete this minigame, you give a ghost child cake. We glitch through 9 different screens until we end up with that child in a box.
You need to leave!
You may be asking, well, isn't this Fredbear's Family Diner, or even the location we see in FNAF 4? And the answer is no. Stage 01 clearly shows us that we're outside, on a stage with lovely clouds above us. The answer's in the name of the stage with a nice double entendre included. This is the first stage created, possibly the very stage that Fredbear's Sing and Show appeared on. The circus is the only place we know of that has any kind of outdoor performances, and I don't think we need to think hard about why. More than that though, the other meaning of this minigame's name is that these 9 screens show us the beginning of what this franchise is all about: child murder. In these 9 screens, we see the first missing child. We can safely assume that the name of this minigame isn't a reference to it being the first minigame of FNAF 3. Ironically, it's not. The minigame is only accessible on the 3rd night and is the 3rd minigame we need to play to unlock the happiest day ending. I think we can also safely assume that these 2 animatronics are the original Fredbear and Spring Bonnie. It's possible that they're not Springlocks yet, but they do have an endo component. Why is that? Well, like this game has shown us, a couple of pixels can really make a difference in a scene. If we look closely at the 2 suits, Spring Bonnie has yellow eyes and Fredbear has white eyes. White eyes are often a sign that the suit is being inhabited, whether by ghosts or by a human. If we look closer though, we can also see a couple of white dots in Fredbear's mouth. Clearly he has a human host. Spring Bonnie on the other hand though is lacking those same dots. That suit doesn't seem to be inhabited at this moment, but it still moves around, likely from the endo inside. I also want to make a note here that I think we could call these suits multiple names. I believe that this Fredbear costume is our Golden Freddy suit. Spring Bonnie only has a couple of references, but I believe that this is the oldest Yellow Rabbit suit, the very one that Afton continues to commit his crimes with. You may be asking now, but Chips, there's no murder here. Wrong. Sandwiched between the 2 possible endings of this game, one where we give the child cake, and the other where we're forced to exit the game and leave it uncompleted, there's another strange box. Now, it may not seem like much at first, but I think this shows us everything we need to know. Even the Ultimate Guide is rather cheeky and hides this panel from us. I think it's because it's that important. I think the location of this panel is also important. It stands between the 2 possible outcomes, the truth and the 2 directions we can take within the game for a good or a bad ending. You know what they say, there are 3 sides to every story: yours, mine, and the truth. Now here's where things get hard. I don't know how this child died, and this is where we come back to the possibility of it being an accident or a murder. Either way, the effect is all the same: a wound first inflicted on Henry.
A wound first inflicted on me, but then one that I let bleed out to cause all of this.
The 2 possibilities we're looking at are 1, Henry wearing the suit that he's cannily shown to wear, takes a child and accidentally kills them. Henry may not be the most attentive father at times, busy with work and other tasks, but we have no evidence to show that he was malicious in any way. He has no reason to kill a child, and if we go back to his speech, he tells us it was a wound first inflicted on him, not something he did to himself. Even if it were an accident, whether it be a bite incident or some sort of springlock accident, it certainly wasn't planned by Henry. The second option, and the one I think far more likely, is that Afton wore Henry's suit. Why though? It's an excellent cover. If someone sees him, Afton, in Henry's suit, people are going to assume it's Henry. Plus, the possibility of Henry's DNA getting onto the victim is far greater. More than that though, Afton might have been able to guilt Henry into silence with these facts, making them both culpable in a murder that Henry had no part in. It's a tactic we likely see Afton use later on in the series with the missing child incident. We know he was the one to kill the children, but it's likely he was not the one that was charged and convicted. Perhaps our silly little rabbit is up to old tricks with that kind of bait and switch. Now here's where I put on my I'm about to make some extra large leaps hat and hope you can just enjoy the ride. Why would Afton be in the suit and not Henry? And why would it matter? Well, I think it might have happened at a birthday party. We all know how much this franchise loves killing kids on their birthday, which is sus. And I think it's something I'm going to discuss later on. I think Henry planned to take his kids to the circus for their birthday. We know he had twins, we just don't know what happened to Charlotte's twin sibling. Perhaps Henry was busy with work or creating in his workshop. He could have even been at the party performing his fatherly duties, but I personally think he was absent. I have no real proof. Either way, it's why Henry wasn't in the suit and Afton was able to make the swap. It could also be that Henry asked him to do the swap because his children preferred Fredbear over Bonnie. Either way, I think he tried to set up a special day for his family and instead wound up with a dead child and being framed for murder. Now, why do I think that Afton would want to frame him? I think it comes down to a simple thing, a deep-seated jealousy of Henry's life, his wife, his creations, his path in life in general. This is a much larger topic and one I plan on covering in the future. But for now, I think we can assume that Afton's rage and jealousy of Henry has been his driving force for much of his life. The final thing we need to talk about comes back to one of the greatest mysteries in this entire series, the box. A rather unassuming box, small and secured with 2 locks. I believe one key is held by Henry and the other held by Afton. As long as they each hold this secret, whether it was a tragic accident or an extremely calculated murder, they're both in it together, bonded by a tragedy and a secret that they would keep, hid under the ground in a place familiar to the both of them, with that suit and that little soul it had claimed, thus creating the one you should not have killed. The true first victim of the series, and also the creation of Golden Freddy, always crying out, "It's me," from their hidden resting place. Well, that's it for me today. I hope you guys have enjoyed our adventure. Please leave a like, a subscribe. I'd love to hear any thoughts you guys have about this theory. It's been fun to dive into the world of theorizing. I've been a fan for a long time, like a lot of people, and it's nice to finally get one of my theories out there. I have a lot more and mainly want to focus on our first 7 games or so. I'm not ready for Security Breach. So stick around. Hopefully I'll be able to get out videos every now and then in hopes of trying to uncover the secrets that we've left behind in the first few games of the series. I've hinted at some of the things I want to talk about, but I promise the list of things is long and probably more than a little controversial. I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.